I'm Brian Pickowitz with LEA Professional, and now I'm going to walk you through the web UI, which is how you control, configure, and monitor the LEA Connect series amplifiers. There's three ways to connect to the amplifier. One is a Wi-Fi access point, where it has a built-in Wi-Fi access point, where you hit this button. We also have the Cat5 connection, and then we also have the ability for the amplifiers to connect to the Wi-Fi. So if you have a local venue Wi-Fi name, you connect the amplifiers to that, and you're able to control and configure. So for this demonstration, I'm going to show you the web access point mode. So if I click this button on the amplifier here, the front of the amplifier shows your connection state. So when you're not connected, it says disconnected. If you're connected via Cat5 connection or to the Wi-Fi, it'll tell you which connection mode you're in and then provide an IP address. So right now it says access point 704D-123 and gives me an IP address of 192.168.12.1. So once you have that information, basically all you do is go to your device, whether it's a phone, tablet, or computer, and then open up your Wi-Fi settings, and now you can see I have 704D-123 as a Wi-Fi access point. Click on that. Then you open up your browser and simply type in the IP address of the amplifier. And now you have the LEA Connect series amplifier you're connected to. So this particular one is a 4-channel product. You can see we've got all 4 channels here. And then from here, you basically click on the channel you want to configure. So let's use channel 1, for example. So now I'm in the input source select mode, where I can select my primary and secondary inputs, select my input sensitivities, and also change my override modes. So with our input priority router, you basically have 2 different functions. So I can select, one function is auto override, where I can select, say, Dante as my primary and analog as my secondary. They both have the same signal. If Dante goes away for some reason, analog will take over. The other way is what we're calling signal sensing override, where, say, your primary input is your background music, paging, etc., and your secondary is an emergency evac alert. So if it senses anything on the secondary emergency evac, the primary goes completely away, secondary takes over. So how you select that is simply an override mode right there. Next is the channel settings. So this is where I can name the channel. So I can call this channel 1. And then also I have the ability to select this channel as a low impedance load, 70 volt or 100 volt. So let's say this is a 70 volt. You'll notice now that I'm on a high impedance 70 volt, it gives me a high pass crossover adjusting. So this crossover setting gives me the ability to set a high pass so that I'm not saturating the transformers in the loudspeaker. Also in the setting page, it gives me the ability to select my smart power bridge channel. So say I want channel 1 as my smart power bridge. I select channel 1, and now I'm getting double the amount of power out of channel 1. Next in the web UI is my built-in signal generator. So I get sine wave, white noise, and pink noise. So this gives you the ability to run noise through the channel. So say you don't have an input source inputted into it yet, but you want to test the system to make sure all the speakers are hooked up properly, your crossovers are set properly, etc. You're able to run noise through each channel, independent of your input source. Next is the crossover section. So in the crossover section, you get your band pass gain. You get up to 100 milliseconds per channel of delay. And then you get a high pass and low pass filter. So we have up to 48 dB per octave Linkwitz-Riley, Bessel, and Butterworth filters. So simply select your high pass and low pass crossover, select your frequency, and you're off and running. For the next section, you get 8 parametric EQs per channel. With this one, you simply select your gain, frequency, and Q, and enable the filter, and now you have parametric EQ. Next is our limiters. So we have built-in peak and RMS limiting. So RMS limiters just make sure the loudspeaker is not overpowered long-term to prevent heat and burning up the coil. Whereas your peak limiter is a quicker limiter that allows the speaker not to extend past its max excursion point. So you set these characteristics based on your speaker's specifications, and now you have RMS and peak limiting. The next is real-time load monitor. So you have the ability to monitor the actual impedance at the output of the amplifier. So say there's a dead short, you're going to see a 0 or very, very low impedance, or say it's an open, you're going to get a very, very high impedance reading on that output. So it gives you the ability to see the actual impedance that the amplifier is seeing on that channel. Also, a couple other cool features. You can see that I'm on channel 1 down at the bottom. You have 2, 3, and 4. This gives you the ability to quickly select between channels 1, 2, 3, and 4. So say you want to quickly set your inputs. I'm on channel 1. Now I click 2. Now I can select channel 2's input. Click 3. Now I can select channel 3's input. 4. Now I can select channel 4's input. So that gave me a quick and easy way to set up the inputs in a very quick and efficient way. A couple other features. This little power icon here shows the power supply information and some of the settings that you can set on the power supply. This little Wi-Fi icon indicates I'm on the Wi-Fi access point, and you can also, this gives you the ability to switch to Ethernet or Wi-Fi based. Also gives you the ability to change between DHCP and static mode. Next is my mute statuses. So as you can see, all 4 channels here are unmuted. If I select this mute status, now I can mute all 4 channels really quickly, and then also unmute individual channels in the channel settings. Next is our green menu. This just gives you AC power draw, some standby features, and also lets you know the information on power over Ethernet. So if you're connected, how much power you're pulling from power over Ethernet, etc. On this information tab, this just gives you some more resolution for the amplifier itself. So if I go into the amplifier settings, I have features like I can click Find Me, and the front panel will flash to indicate which amplifier I'm talking to. Password protection, so if you go through and set up all your settings and set the password, then that way anybody who else tries to get into the amplifier needs that password to be able to change those settings. If you log in and don't have the password, we have what's called guest mode, which gives you the ability to read, but no write access. So you can see all the settings, you can see the meters, but you can't make any changes. And then other than that, it's just information that you can set within the amplifier itself. We also give you event and fault monitoring. So events are if something's out of tolerance. So say I disconnect an output channel, have a high impedance load, nothing's wrong with the amplifier, but it's reading the high impedance, so that's where you'll see events, stuff like that. Faults are something is outside of the tolerance of the amplifier. So a dead short would be an example of that. Or a perfect example with this amplifier, on March 20th, the AC line voltage dropped below 87 volts AC. The amplifier started protecting itself. So that's an example of a fault of that. Next is power supply, which is same as the power indicator on the normal panel. Network, which is same there. And then we also have advanced. So in advanced, this gives me the ability to export and import settings. Basically, that's a copy and paste of the amplifier. So export exports all the settings of the amplifier. If I click import, it takes that file, but then it asks me what I want to import. Do I want to import the entire file? Do I want to import just the network settings, just the amplifier settings, or just the settings for the channel itself? A couple other cool features. We also have light and dark mode. So if you click on this little light bulb icon in the top right, it will switch back and forth between light and dark mode. Personally, I like dark mode, but that's up to you to decide. And then in this hamburger menu at the top, this is where you can do firmware updates. Help and feedback shows our information plus the installer's information. So when you set The installer's information and contact in the Amplifier Settings menu, it all shows up here. And then the last thing I'd say is we have this emoji icon. So we have 3 states for an emoji. This is basically the amplifier state. So the happy emoji that you see right now, the amplifier's happy, it's able to pass audio, no problems found. If it was a frown emoji, then that means there is an event. So you click on the frown emoji and it takes you to the events page, lets you monitor anything there. And if it's an angry emoji, that's an actual amplifier fault. So say output of the amplifier is dead shorted, the amplifier protected that channel, you would click on the angry face and then it would take you to the faults menu to see exactly what's wrong with it. So the web UI also works not only just on your phone, but it also works on your tablet or PC. So whenever you're on the different platforms, the functionality is the exact same. So if you're on your desktop, you have the exact same functionality as on your phone, as you have on the tablet. So I'll show you just briefly the desktop version. So same as the phone, you just connect to the amplifier's network. So I connect to the Wi-Fi access point, and then that this amplifier is broadcasting. And then again, I just type in the IP address. So 192.168.12.1 into the browser. And then same as the phone, it'll load the web UI into the browser. And then as you can see, so there's the amplifier that I was talking to. It's a little bit different layout, given that we have a bigger screen, we give you more functionality. So when I click on the amplifier itself, as opposed to having the amplifier in single channel and me flipping between each individual channel, you can see that I have all 4 channels in front of me. So this gives you just a quick and easy way to bounce between channels. So if there's my inputs, there's the settings, I can change all 4 channels, internal signal generator, crossovers, parametric EQ, limiters, and load. So again, it's the same functionality. However, it just gives you an easy way to see more information. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to LEA Professional's YouTube channel, as well as our other social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.